or that is a skilled or talented person. We want to stand out. We want to have something special about ourselves that nobody else has. We want to be unique. We want other people to identify us by our unique capacities or qualities. For example, I'm a singer. I like to sing. I sing all the time. I work night watch at Welch College, which means that I stay up all night and pretend to be important. And I walk around campus and I sing all the time. I love to sing, and I'd like to think that I'm pretty good at it. But I'm definitely not the best. But let's say that I want to become the best. I want to become the best singer in the world. I want to become the best singer. But why is this so important to me? Why is it important to me that I become the best singer? Why do I want to become the best singer? It's not a bad thing to want to become a good singer and to become better, but if I want to be the best, it may be because I want to stand out, or maybe I want to be considered valuable, and I've begun to place my identity in my ability to sing. I've placed my identity in my ability to sing. And so now I want to be the best because it's what I'm valuable for. So when I sing well and I am complimented for my singing, I feel like I'm somebody special. I feel like I have a strong identity. I feel important, a good identity. However, when I mess up with my singing, when my voice cracks, or maybe when I'm preaching my voice cracks, I'm sure that'll happen eventually. When my voice cracks or I mess up a harmony really bad and it sounds really bad, or when I get critiques rather than compliments, those compliments that I was talking about earlier turn to critiques, I may feel disappointed and lost. I may feel like I have lost my identity because I am no longer that one thing that I thought I was valuable for. I am no longer the best singer. Or, here's another example. I also play basketball from time to time. Let's say that I'm a really good basketball player. Let's say that I'm making every shot and I'm dunking every third point. I will never dunk, but let's just say that I could, just because it makes a funner story. I feel super valuable when I'm making really good shots, when I'm doing really good. I feel like I'm doing a really good job. I've placed my identity in my ability to play basketball, which means that as soon as I stop getting every shot, and as soon as I rupture my Achilles tendon and can't do anything, I can't play basketball anymore, I may feel like I've lost my value. However, for us Christians, we have an identity that is stronger than this. We have an identity that is greater and stronger than our identities in singing or basketball or in our income or in our position or wherever we're placing our identity, wherever we're placing our value. We have a relationship with Christ. And this relationship with Christ is our identity. And this identity cannot be taken from us. And we can't trip and then no longer have any relationship with Christ. We can always fix it with Christ. Without this relationship, our identity is as fragile as our own capacities. Our identity is as fragile as my voice right before it cracks, or as fragile as my Achilles tendon. And that's not very strong. In 1 Corinthians chapter 3, Paul spends some time warning the Corinthians about placing their identity in the wrong places. And then he encourages them to make Christ their identity. Let's start reading the text. We'll start in verse 1, and then we'll continue through verse 9 for now. And I, brethren, could not speak to you as to spiritual people, but as to carnal, as to babes in Christ. I fed you with milk and not with solid food, for until now you were not able to receive it, and even now you still are not able, for you are still carnal. For where there are envy, strife, and divisions among you, are you not carnal and behaving like mere men? For when one says, I am of Paul, and another, I am of Apollos, are you not carnal? Who then is Paul and who is Apollos? But ministers through whom you believed, as the Lord gave to each one. I planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase. So then neither he who plants is anything, nor he who waters, but God who gives the increase. Now he who plants and he who waters are one, and each one will receive his own reward according to his own labor. For we are God's fellow workers. You are God's field. You are God's building. My first point today is this. Place your identity in Christ because you are nothing apart from him. Place your identity in Christ because you are nothing apart from him. Paul says, or asks, who then is Paul? Who is Apollos? From the perspective of the Corinthians, they are skilled workers and skilled speakers and very knowledgeable men about the work of Christ. They are church leaders and very widely traveled ministers. They are men who have made a name for themselves. And they've done this by teaching and persuading and even working miracles. These men have every excuse to gloat. They've made a name for themselves. This is who Paul and Apollos are to the Corinthians. They have every excuse to gloat, but do they have the right to gloat? Paul says no.